Hey, Thomas Allen within Fisherman here. I'm with Cal with Connect Ease, and he is going to make my life a lot easier. Today we're wrapping up the rigging of an Old Town Sportsman 120 autopilot, and we're putting everything on here that you can imagine. Overkill is the name of the game. I'm going to put a Solix 10, I'm going to put a Helix 9, GoPro mounts. I've got the live unit over here. We're going to put interior lights, navigation lights, blah, blah, blah. A lot of cool stuff. And the wiring is not super simple, but Connect Ease custom makes wiring harnesses, and this guy has already taken a load off my plate.
We're going to put a dual battery connection in for all the electronics, 246 Dakota lithium batteries actually, stuffed in this little hole down here with one of our double time kits, which actually takes a parallel set of batteries and actually has a outside connection so you can charge it from outside, because once we got those batteries in there we won't get them again. Then we're going to put the Kayak Pro in here, the Kayak Ease Graph Power Pro system that'll power his graphs and his live and so on and so forth. Then we're going to wire the lights in here to a switch, which is one of our custom sets that we put together depending on the kayak size and so on and so forth, so it'll actually wire the whole system together. And then we're going to be done in probably a quarter to a third of the time that it normally would have taken us to do a kayak. So
at least a whole weekend the way this has been going. So listen, if you're going to go overboard on something, having a simple system that kind of, I guess, minimizes and regulates where you're running wires, knowing where they go, it's super easy. And this is something you can do yourself if you have that type of product.
Yeah, it's a real simple product. It's easy to install. It's pretty bulletproof. Once you put it in, it's going to last for the life of whatever you put in. And it makes battery management, power management very, very easy and complete. And if you need to replace batteries, take batteries out in the winter, depending on your storage requirements or replacement requirements, you can take them out really quickly. Everything else stays wired in the boat or in the kayak or however else you're doing it. So you've got everything permanently mounted. We use all marine grade solutions, marine grade wire. We use heat shrinkable butt splices. Everything's made to be completely vibration and corrosion free as we can possibly make it, so that you can spend more time on the water fishing and less time messing around with trying to figure out how to make stuff work better.
Well, I went to work, so I have like a 3,000 yard spool of 50-pound monofilament that I'll never use.
Yep.
And so I ran the fishing line throughout the boat. I color coded the tape on the end so it's super easy.
Thank goodness.
And I'm sure you're going to tell me there's a much easier way to do this.
No, thank goodness you did that, because you know that's the issue with doing that. He's drilled all the holes in the right places and so on and so forth. So it makes my life easier, because all we got to do is run, connect, crimp, heat shrink, and we're done pretty much. So I'm digging the way he's done this. And this is going to be a lighted canoe, so you can, or a lighted kayak, so you can actually use the red lights or white lights.
I've got both. We're going to make Christmas tree out of this. Yep. Navigation lights up front, red lights here, white light in the middle, and they're kind of in this little storage area, but I thought that would project the light right to your knees, so you can tie something. And then red lights in the back, purely for cosmetics.
Pure cosmetics. Well, you know, red lights at night, if you choose to run a kayak at night, are the best thing to use, so your vision stays intact.
That's right, but here's the reality too. If you're going to fish in a kayak, especially where the fishing might get good around dark, which it does everywhere, you want to have some added visibility, because your orange flag isn't going to do any good when it's dark. So you want to have nav lights.
Running my Yarcraft 300 at 50 miles an hour and I'm trying to get home.
You want to pop off the water.
I want to make sure that you're visible, because I want to see you.
Well, and let's wrap it up with this. So I want to be able to operate everything on a switch like this. It's very simple. I think this was $20.
Yep.
And it's got USB charging port, which I know I can get in there. So if I want to charge a cell phone or run a camera, I can do that. Yep. But we're going to put nav lights on one, cabin lights on the other. Yep. And it's going to be that simple.
That simple.
All right, let's get to it.
Pretty easy. Let's get after it.
Well, I don't know that we're quite to the halfway point, but we're getting there.
We're pretty close.
We've got nav lights run, not connected, and now we're working on the cabin lights.
Got the batteries set up, the dual battery set up in the front. All we got to do is finish connecting the power for the graphs, which we're ready to do that next. So normally what you want to do is run all your wires, get them all laid out first, and then do your connections. Don't connect them one at a time. because you might discover that you got to do something different and so on and so forth. So we're about ready. We're almost, probably another 20 minutes to run wire, and then we're going to be good for that, and then we'll start doing the connection, which we'll show you next. We sell a bunch of different butt slices on our website, and we've got like 14 to 16 gauge connections, and these are all heat shrinkable butt splices. So once you crimp them on there, then you heat shrink them with a gun or with a hair dryer. They actually shrink around the wire and make the best corrosion proof, resistance, or vibration proof connection you can have in any kind of boat, kayak, canoe, pontoon, whatever. We have some step down ones too that go from 14 gauge wire, 16 gauge wire down to 20 gauge wire, which a lot of these wires have 20 gauge wire on them. They're pretty small wires, so we're using step down connections to do that into a little bit heavier connection to run in the boat. So in case we jerk on something or pull on something, we're not gonna pull stuff apart. So word to the wise, if you want to wire something, don't use copper wire. Try to find marine grade wire, because it's got a tin over the copper, which actually keeps it from any type of corrosion, so you won't have to fight stuff a year or two down the road. We usually keep these things for 10 years or so. So that way, most of our products are designed to actually just stay in your boat forever. It's always hooked up. The only thing you'd have to unhook is your battery, because those are the things we have to replace once in a while. Or we want to upgrade from a 25 amp hour or 23 amp hour to a 30 amp hour or something, because you got to stay up in the latest and greatest of power, because clean power is really important in today's electronics. In a boat, when you're running graphs, you're running lights and so on and so forth.
Live sonar especially.
Live sonar, the lithium power is absolutely the best thing you can use for that, because it's pure, it's clean power, and with our stuff it's designed to power these electronics so that you can have the best possible experience, because graphic cards like power, and they run better and they look better and they're easier to read if they're powered correctly.
And exclusively in all my all the boat rigging, we do it in Fisherman and the other kayaks that I rig, I keep my main graph and live power on an independent battery. So the battery that's running the trolling motor in this particular boat is only going to run that trolling motor, no other wires coming off of it, and then all the lights we're running are going to be on a separate battery altogether. So keep your power clean. That is a huge plus for live sonar.
So then you don't have any interference. Your graphs aren't having lines through it. They don't shut off if you're in a boat when you turn the key. So I got the wires for a 9-inch helix, a 10-inch Solex, and actually the live Humminbird actually run and thing through here. We're going to use Yakee's new connection. It's actually called the Yakees. It's got one larger connection for like these lives, because they run a actually not much bigger wire, but they actually do they solder the end of it, so we use a little bit bigger connection for that. And two connections that are designed to fit exactly these power wires that you run for a Solex and you run for a Helix. You'll see that they are smaller wires, so we use like a step down connector on these two, which steps it down from the 14 gauge wire that we're using here down to the 20-22 gauge, what these are, so you can get the best crimp possible. And then we're going to heat shrink these on, so I'll show you how that all works. And we snap it into the connection and we're good. We got the power connection for the Helix. I'm just going to insert the red wire, which we've already stripped, into the butt splice, crimp that down. Actually, so you see that's a tight crimp that stays there. For the power wire is always red. Then you got the black connection there, so you want to put that in there. Normally what I like to do is we sell these crimpers at Connectees. They're the very best crimper for this type of stuff because they're ratcheting, so you can kind of put it on there and then feed the wire in actually. Crimp that down. Okay, now we're going to finish hooking up the Helix. The negative wire is going to go into the butt splice. We hold it in there tight. Crimp that down. Got a solid connection there. These are all heat shrinkable butt splices, so we're going to splice them all in and then heat shrink the whole works at once. Now we're going to connect the Solex, which actually has the small power wires as well. So we actually take that, and usually these things are so small you always can't get them with a stripper. I use a quality stripper and it won't strip them very well, so all I do is take a knife and run around about that much, just kind of spin it on there. It'll pull that wire off pretty well. So You don't want to cut into the wire, you just want to kind of poke it in there so it just gets to the plastic. And we're going to take our Kayak Ease. Is made for easy connections on these kayaks. I'm going to take my my crimper, put it in there, clink it down, then insert the wire in, then crimp it. Or going to take the positive wire, do the same thing here. That's a nice tight connection. So all these connections are good and tight. Make sure you check those before you actually try to heat shrink them. On these lives, we built these kits with the two different kinds for smaller ones, and then we leave one larger set of butt connectors that actually will fit this live wire because it's actually a thicker wire. I've already put one on here because they've got that negative wire and that black wire on there, so we're going to replace this one with that one. Insert it in there, crimp it. Alright, so we've all connected all the grafts now to the 9-inch helix, the 10-inch Solex, and actually the live to the Kayak Ease connection. And now we're going to heat shrink these just to make the connection as good as we possibly can. Actually, now we're using one of the Connect-Ease products. It's called the Double Time. It's for hooking parallel batteries, whether they're 12 volt, 24 volt, or 36 volt together, with a charging solution on them that'll fit that parallel connection. So we actually have the connection that goes to the batteries, which is this side of it. We've got two Dakota Lithium 46s in here. We're going to actually connect these two with a snap with that one, and then we're going to connect the other one with the other charging lead, this one here, to the other battery. This is actually the charging lead that you guys seen in the previous setup. These are the connections that we made for the graphs for the Helix 10, the Solex 10, the Helix 9, and the Live. We actually put a charging connection on here like this, which is designed to work with the Dakota Lithium chargers, because they a lot of times have these gray connections on there. You just snap that in there, charge the batteries in the unit by just connecting the charger.
Well, Cal, I'm excited about this. The whole process was a lot easier than the last one I did. I was running wires, taping them together, and just hoping that they would work. Your system made this a piece of cake.
Awesome.
I mean, listen, if you're going to build a kayak, the whole goal is to make it simple, but to make it cool. You want to have all the amenities, and I've got a lot of stuff on here. And this is the best part. I got to tell you this. The last time I did this, they did not turn on the first time. Okay. So I had to go hunt down a Phantom. Figured it out, but the first time we pushed the button, it worked. Both units, I got the Helix 9, the Solex 10 here. Got a Sniper Marine mount right over there that's going to hold the Mega Live. And then the interior lights and the nav lights are all on a switch. They're separate, so I've got. And the first time, I mean, this guy's a whiz. So the cool thing is, and he told me this, like, you're going to have a phantom draw, right? So if I leave the kayak with the batteries in and plugged in, it's going to deplete the batteries. And if you know anything about lithiums or batteries in general, that kills batteries.
That kills batteries. Yeah.
So the connection process that you installed makes that a snap. Tell me about that.
So anyway, Connect-Ease actually is designed to actually be a quick disconnect system. So we got the power underneath here. You know, I can disconnect this whole system just through that. So now all the lights are gone, so on and so forth, because we had them hooked up to a separate battery here. You see, this is how easy it is to connect. You can disconnect it in there. Now we also sell connections that actually you can put on your charging motor that actually would go in here. So if you had to leave that battery in there, you could charge it. If not, we can just pull this lithium out of here, take it out, charge it, put it back in, slide it in there. You know, it's lithium, so you can set it sideways. Plug it back in. The lights, camera, in action again.
Super simple.
But you can see that the draw actually would stay on here because there's actually lights still on the slided panel that we got from
Amazon. I don't know, no name.
Amazon or someplace. So anyway, that's how that works. And up here, we put a dual set of 46 Dakota lithium 12 batteries in there. We build a system that actually, it's called double time. And it's for these parallel battery sets that you want to use. Now this is because it's kind of a quick connect, but you can see this one here. Thomas, this is the one that you want to disconnect. So watch the graphs. They just went off.
Off.
So you're just, it's like a switch basically, so you don't have to try to install a switch because that's kind of, would really be a problem trying to tote one of those in here.
Well, we could figure out a way if we're crazy.
Well, I could figure out a way,
Yeah.
you know, if you want to spend another half a day
Well,
on this thing. But we also connect the system in here, so these batteries are hard to get in and out of here.
you grab the charger,
So we got the charger,
and you modified the end of that thing.
modified the end of it. Some of the Dakota products actually come with this connection on it, so this actually, as I made this for him just so he could charge his little batteries, basically. So you can actually just turn it around and flick it in there. And these connections are great because they're mated. You cannot put them in wrong. So there you go. Now you can just plug that in.
And it's charging both batteries.
Charging both batteries at the same time. It charges them according to how you want to charge a lithium battery. So anyway, and then you just pop that out, pop it back in the panel, and away we go.
It's like an onboard charger.
Yeah, it is like an onboard charger.
So the whole point is to simplify your connection process, understanding, first of all, you need to know what you're going to be using your kayak for, when and where,
Yeah.
right? And nav lights, that's a no-brainer. And I do a lot of fishing where I go right up to dark. And in a kayak, you're low profile.
low profile.
People are not going to see your visibility flag when it's dark. So I put these lights in for a little bit of theater. I do like a little bit of color and fun, but ultimately it's just to pop when I'm on the water. So
Well,
people
you can see a little better with the white lights. I'm a little older, so I need that white light to
That's
see
right. Well,
something.
we lost a lot of tools in here over the last hour or so. But listen, if you want to rig your kayak, get a hold of this man. The whole connectees process makes your life a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's a fun process. Listen, I love to catch fish out of these things, but rigging them and turning the switches on, I like that part too.
Oh, that's cool.
So check it out. Big thanks to Dakota Lithium for the batteries, Humminbird. These units are outstanding. You can put just about any kind of graph on a kayak, and then of course the Sniper Marine mount is a very cool way to run your live sonar. You got to have all that stuff, but we're not done with this kayak yet. Still have some housekeeping and a couple little touch-ups to do, and it's going to be ready to go in probably another afternoon, and hopefully before the leaves fall off the tree.
Get going crazy. So
It's time to go.
With Connectees, what we want to do is help you spend more time on the water and not mess around with this. So it's hook up once, and it's going to stay in the boat for the life of this kayak, basically. So all the connections are made so that the wiring stays in the boat. It's good. All you got to do is disconnect the battery, rip it out if you want to replace it, and so on and so
It's
forth.
Connect Easy.
Connect Easy, yeah. So anyway, the lithium battery is going to last 10, 11 years. So, you know, you can just go fishing.
Well,
That's
Cal,
the whole kid. Just go fishing.
I
That's the
appreciate your
deal.
time, my friend. This was a lot of fun.
Thomas, it's been fun.
Check them out.
Thanks, man. Take care.